Hello and welcome to Lead with Leann, your definitive guide for exceptional leadership and successful entrepreneurship, airing every week at 2 p.m. Pacific time, exclusively on winwinwomen.tv. I'm your host. My name is Leann, and I'm thrilled to be sharing this journey with you. Each week on Lead with Leann, you'll join me as we delve into the inspiring stories of established leaders and innovative entrepreneurs, and we'll uncover just what it takes to build a brand from scratch, lead with authority and grace, and turn business aspirations into tangible successes. Our show is not only about imparting knowledge, it's about creating community. It's a space for us to laugh, learn, and leap forward together in our quest for professional and personal growth. Whether you're embarking on a new entrepreneurial venture or looking to inject some fresh energy into an existing one, there will always be insights for you here. So get ready for thought-provoking conversations, enlightening insights, actionable advice, and the support of a network, winwinwomen.tv, that champions the win-win philosophy. Learn to lead with passion, purpose, and determination right here on Lead with Leann. And today, my guest is Cindy Andersen, SEN. If you know anything about me, I'm a Swede, but we'll give her a pass because she has been planning vacations professionally since 2010. She launched her own company, Blue Shore Vacations, in 2018 and has grown it to include 14 agents from around the nation. Her favorite thing about being a travel agent is teaching people how to be a good traveler and creating trips so special they'll remember it forever. Her favorite thing about leading a team is watching her agents rise up and soar to exceed even their own expectations. And her favorite thing about being an entrepreneur is owning her life again. So please give a warm welcome to Cindy Andersen. Are you there, Cindy? There she is.
Hi,
Yay.
Leann.
Hi, Cindy. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much for having me today.
My pleasure. It's great having you here. We had so much fun talking, last year when we set up this opportunity to speak. And so it's really a thrill to be here with you again.
For
What's
sure.
new?
Oh, well, we're in January. We're trying to stay warm and people are planning their getaways. In our industry, it's called wave season. So people kind of get together over the holidays and make dreams and plans. And then the next few months, they put those plans into action. And so people are booking and booking and booking in high numbers these days. So it's
Ah,
exciting.
I will say I saw a commercial for the Icon,
Did you
right?
see? Yeah,
The
it
cruise ship.
sails in 2 weeks or maybe in 10 days. It's coming up very soon. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, it said 2024. I didn't see a date on it, but I'm like, I don't even really like cruise ships, but I'm like, that does look pretty darn cool.
I
Maybe
think
it's big enough that I wouldn't feel it.
yeah, right. I think you have to really be trying hard to be bored on a ship like that. Like so much to do.
It's not boredom. I get a little seasick, which is funny because I do own a boat. I love being on the water. Love being on the water, but I do get a little motion sick on those really big cruise ships. And I think it's because you can't quite see the water that causes that for me.
Yeah, you have to keep an
So,
eye on the horizon.
yeah, right, exactly. Which is hard to do from the middle of a football field with walls on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite type of trip?
Oh, my favorite type of trip is anywhere we go with my family.
Uh, and you
Yeah.
do have some fun vacations coming up, you were sharing with me.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, I have two trips back to back. The
Oh,
first one is
dream.
a cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise I'm taking with my team. We have, there's, I think, a group of 16 of us coming on the Allure of the Seas,
Mm.
which is one of their bigger ships. It's in the biggest class of ship until the Icon sails, and then that's the new biggest class. But I really believe I am an educator in my background, and I believe that we learn the most by doing things. So last year I set out this invitation to let's go together and we'll learn together. It's not my first cruise, but there are people on my team where it is their first cruise. And I want them to understand all of the questions you would have
Yeah.
going into something new like this. How do you get from the Orlando airport an hour drive to Port Canaveral to get on the ship? They're like, that's kind of a lot for an Uber. So what are the other options? I'm just excited that they're walking through all of these steps. They're going to know what embarkation day is. They're going to know what it is to have a certain dining time, how to arrange the beds in the room, how to get back to where they're going, because some of them are not going right back to the airport. And then we'll be able to convene all together afterwards and share all of our different experiences. So it's just going to make all of us, our whole team, stronger and better because of everybody going all at once.
Yes. That sounds amazing. I hope nobody, however, learns what it's like to be quarantined to their cabin, which
Yeah.
happened to me.
Oh
Do you know
no.
why that happens?
Hi.
Oh, I'm just curious if you have any experience with.
Oh, I mean, we haven't been quarantining for things in a while, so maybe
Yeah.
it was a while ago when you did that.
It was many years ago. But maybe 5 years ago at most. It was the only, it was a cruise that I'd won as part of a company. And yeah, there was something in the food. I think it was the shrimp. Blame it on the shrimp. But I got sick. And so I called and asked for, something to help me feel better. And instead they quarantined me and they would only bring, I think it was toast. And like there were like three items I could order. I couldn't like just order anything off the menu. They're like, no, you're sick. You get to have bread or crackers
Oh,
and
goodness.
water.
Yeah. Oh,
And it
that's
was a 24-hour quarantine.
that's tough. Well, I hope you felt better after that.
I got through it. It was just I missed a trip and things like
Yeah.
that. So if you're here's my tip. If you're feeling sick, zip it. Don't go to the ship doctor.
My tip is come armed with all of the medication you might possibly need, not just for seasick, but like all of the other things that happen to you on sometimes on the road or at home. If you have your own little mini pharmacy,
Yeah.
you can be more self-sufficient.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things you love to do is to arm people. What did you say about, the tips that they can learn and have around that? So would that be one tip that you share with people commonly?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Take everything you might need. You don't need a 3 month supply if you're going on a 7 night trip, right? Bring maybe 7 to 10 days worth
Yeah.
of each of the things that you normally take, and then maybe things that might make you more comfortable if you started to not feel so hot. What would you normally reach for? And then my second tip regarding medication is to keep it in your carry-on in case, sadly, luggage sometimes gets lost on a flight. That would be tragic if you had something you needed to take every day and it wasn't with you. Same thing on embarkation day on a cruise. They'll take your luggage to your cabin for you, your like big suitcases. But if it doesn't come till 5 or 6 o'clock and you start to not feel great, it's just good to keep your medication with you, right? Um,
100%.
keep your valuables, your passport, your laptop if you're taking it, and your medication, all of those in your carry-on bag with you.
Great. What's another top tip that you share with people? Maybe not just around cruises, but around travel in general.
Yeah. So if you're going internationally, I really recommend a couple of things. Obviously, contacting your bank and your credit cards to notify them you're going to be leaving the country. Yes, it indeed will be you shopping in Paris that week.
Yeah.
Um, and then the US State Department has a great program on the website. So it's called the STEP program. And you really quick form that you fill out. It tells them who you are, where you're going, what dates. It asks them for a person here in the States that could be your emergency contact and like their phone and maybe email. And it just is like if there's an emergency in the world, they like to know at their fingertips, oh, we have this many US citizens in this country, and
Right.
what is the urgency? Do we need to bring them up? Like they just like to really quickly be able to rescue us. Maybe there's a hurricane coming to you in the Caribbean and like to know, okay, well, how many people do we need to get out of the Dominican Republic or whatever. But if you're not on that list, it doesn't mean you're not going to get home. It's just you might not be first in line because you're not on the list. So
Oh, good advice. I was not aware of that. Out of
it's a
curiosity, Cindy, how many countries have you been to? How many states and countries?
states, I think 41, and countries, I think 7.
Okay. Wow.
So headed to a few more this year,
Ooh,
and a few more countries. Going to St. Lucia for the first time.
okay.
We have a group trip planned in October. And then next year we have a river cruise, Christmas markets river cruise from Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland, for my birthday week in December. So
Ooh, that's a
invite-
dream. So, fun fact, we probably talked about this before, but my husband and I would like to do what's called the Great Loop. Have you heard of it?
yes,
Have you
yeah.
ever helped anybody with it?
Uh, we talked about this before, so yeah, I
Really?
think we can talk about this. Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
again.
So we live in Minnesota and we have a boat currently docked on the Mississippi. By the way, for fun fact, I was in a call earlier tonight and we said, yeah, our dream is to have a yacht. And I thought, you know, what is the definition of a yacht? So I looked it up and they said, it's a little loose, but typically a yacht is going to be a boat that's 33 feet or longer and has a cabin that you can use for at least overnight. And in fact, the boat that my husband and I have the brand is Cruiser's Yacht. So even if you had a smaller boat, you could technically say I have a yacht, but ours is over 33 feet. We do have a up front cabin, a back front bed, up front bed, galley, and separate bathroom and shower, which is pretty fun. And then of course all the upstairs stuff. So that is not a big enough boat for us to actually take this trip on, but we will head down the Mississippi, take a left just past St. Louis, take a little 200-mile excursion up to Nashville and then back to the river, and then down to Mobile, Alabama, maybe a little excursion over to St. Louis, maybe have Christmas there, and then jump across, just hop across the Gulf to Florida, and then a little excursion over to the Bahamas, which isn't as far away as people think. My husband thinks we're just going to stay there. But assuming we continue the loop, we'd come back, go up the East Coast, spend the winter in New York, and then as soon as the ice allows, we'd go up into the St. Lawrence, in through Canada, in the Great Lakes, down through Lake Michigan to Chicago, and whew, back out to the Mississippi.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
amazing.
trip.
And how long is that going to take you? Did you say?
People have done it in very short amounts of time. Typically, people are recommended to take 4 to 6 months to do it if they're going to do it continuously. That sounds awful to us. So as you heard, I already mentioned at least 2 winter stops, so maybe 3. We'd love to make this happen over 3 years, giving us the flexibility with our kids and their kids, potential someday kids, and our parents to stop someplace, still participate in their lives, and come back to the boat and continue the journey. It does not have to be continuous to count. And
Yeah.
there is a recognition and a badge of honor you can earn if you complete the trip, if you're registered with the right organization.
I love that. You know what I really love about that
Hmm.
is that your family has something that's unique to you. You're building tradition.
Yeah.
You're building memories. You're planning to have those memories together with different members of the family. And those are the kinds of bonds, those things that you do away from home when you can't, like your regular schedule isn't there. It's not Taco Tuesday night, it's eat out at this place night, right?
Yeah.
And that's fancy and special. And I don't know, I just building those traditions makes your family bonds stronger, in my experience. And having
Agree.
that to recall on in the future when you're sad or down or stressed,
Mm.
or your family goes through a number of different kinds of hard times that can happen to us, there can be a great amount of joy just tapping into the memories of it. And
Mhm.
also, if you have another venture planned in the future, you're tapping into that joy and you're giving yourself hope for more.
Beautiful.
I love that for you.
There's a book called Chase the Lion. Have you ever heard of it?
Mm.
I don't think I have it handy. I'm looking around, but it's called Chase the Lion, and it is based on a Bible verse, actually, of a man who jumped into a pit on a snowy day with a lion voluntarily and defeated the lion, which would be an unexpected consequence of jumping into a pit with a lion on a snowy day. However, in there, he really does talk about it's Mark Bratterson, I believe, is the author. And he talked about exactly what you just touched on. We create these experiences, but our experiences, completed or incomplete, do inspire others. So my parents just finished a 25-year trip in their motorhome. They just finished it last spring. But their desire to hit all 50 states and sleep every night in all 50 states informed my desire. I've been to 49 states. It inspired my desire to travel to 23, 24, whatever number of countries I've been to. But it gets passed on generationally. And we already see it in our kids and some of their aspirations and dreams too. So thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, yeah. I love people don't even realize the future value of the memories they're about to make, but
Yeah.
I do. So even if they're not thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, and I want
Mhm.
it to be that special for them
Yeah.
because I know someday they're going to look back on this thing that we planned together, and it's going to mean way more than they even know.
Oh, I love that. And do you sometimes come across people that are like, "Oh no, I just want to get there and lay on a beach."
Oh,
Do,
for sure.
do you
Oh,
let them off? Do you let them off with that?
you know what though? If that's what they need at that moment in time, maybe that's okay,
Yeah.
right? There are different kinds of travelers. There are the kind that like to rope drop at the crack of dawn and go, 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 and then take a shower and go to bed and get up and do the whole thing all over again. There's people that love to do that. And there's other people that like to wake up and go to the cafe and get some coffee and sit and people watch for a little while and then go get some brunch and then go do one activity in the afternoon and then come back and do dinner and then sit around and watch people watch again for dessert in the evening and then go to bed.
Have
So
you named these different types?
have I what?
Have you named them? Do you kind of have a
I
it
should.
within your organization? I mean,
I should, but I'm aware that everybody has different desires and
yeah,
different needs and a different travel style. And I like to respect what they want and who they are. And so when we're curating a vacation, I have asked a lot of questions before we do the planning part, and I already kind of know what those things are that are important to them. And
sure.
that's the way that we carve it out for them so that they get what they want or need in this particular trip.
I think I'm much more the second type. Yeah.
Isn't that
I
something?
go, 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 and I do so much in my daily life that the opportunity to just relax sounds wonderful.
I mean, I get it. Like, if I'm only going to go to Italy once in my life, I want to see and do as much as I can. I totally get the urge, but at the same time, I people are kind of shifting away from that, and they want to like, if I'm only going to be here for 1 week in my life, maybe we'll camp out in Sorrento for 3 or 4 nights and just dive in a little deeper and get
Yeah.
off the beaten path and experience it more naturally, authentically. That's maybe what it is. Authentic.
Yeah. Authenticity. Authenticity is the higher resonance than love.
Mm.
That's fun, huh? Everybody thinks love is the highest resonance emotion. It's not. Authenticity. It's true authenticity. Authenticity without fear. It has to be authentic authenticity, if that makes sense. I
It's
know
a
I have saved on my phone those like the most unique places like to travel to or the most unique hotels. I love those types of videos. Like the ice, I think three of them were in Sweden, one being the ice hotel. Don't recall what the other two, and Sweden is my thing, as I kind of mentioned earlier, Swedish. Um, what are some really unique places that you've sent people to?
so have you heard of the Giraffe Manor?
That was one of them.
Yeah, in Africa. Yeah, we've got somebody heading there later on this year in our agency. One of my agents planned a safari that included a stay at Giraffe Manor.
Oh,
So
very fun.
that's pretty
Great.
neat.
So you started this in 2010. Let's talk about your beginnings. How did you get into it? Why did you get into it?
Sure. So that relates to our family tradition, which has always been Disney trips.
Okay.
And we would go year after year. And coming from the Midwest, we were from Omaha, Nebraska. And when you go every year, people know that you go. They're like, "Oh, where should we watch the parade or the firework?" Like they just ask little questions about it. And I would bring home extra maps for people and I would know that they would ask me, and I would take my little Sharpie and I would say, "Oh, you should do this over here, and you should do this over here, and eat breakfast here." And then I'd send them on their way, and they'd come home and they're like, "You are really good at that. You really thought about what we would love." And our trip was so much more amazing because of it. And so one day I finally did figure out a way to become an agent. And it was in 2010. And I started out slow. I had an agency they were lovely, but there wasn't a lot of training. So it was just, here, go be a travel agent. Okay, is this how you do it? Am I doing it yet? I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about email marketing. Wasn't really big on social media back then, not like it is now. We didn't have podcasts. So over the years, it grew and evolved. I worked at a brick and mortar travel agency where I expanded on my travel planning knowledge and I learned about cruises,
Yeah.
all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean, and trips to Europe. So that I really, really studied with my coworkers, and I attended every webinar that I could. And in 2017, I had a little bit of an epiphany with my boss. Maybe I'll tell that story, I guess. I went in to tell him, we had a son who was still in high school at the time. And I went in to tell him, hey, just wanted to let you know, my son's show choir is going to be performing in Nashville on this date. And so I'm going to be gone this Thursday and Friday. And I just, it was like 2 months ahead. I was just letting him know. It wasn't even last minute. And he goes, oh, well, so and so just quit and so doesn't work on Thursdays. So no, no, I can't let you be gone. And I was like, in my head, something broke. I don't know. I was just like, oh, sir, you do not pay me enough to be that loyal to you to miss this important trip to Nashville. And I said, well, um, if I'm not going to be here, so if that's not okay with you, I can go, but I'm not going to be here. I'm just letting you. Oh, well, then he was like, well, maybe we can make it work. Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm done working for other people. And that moment, I needed to own my own life and my own schedule. And so I went home, and my husband and I worked on it for a year, and we opened the doors of Blue Shore Vacations almost exactly a year later.
That's awesome.
And that's how it did. And then I found proper mentors and proper business coaching and really launched. And then, of course, we had COVID, which wasn't so hot in my industry.
Was going to ask about that, but go ahead.
It wasn't good. It was 18 months worth of work that canceled, and then we
Mhm.
had to do the work to cancel it all. But we survived. I had some clients, I almost said patients. I had some clients who went to Cancun because Mexico never closed. So I had people going to Mexico, and they kept me afloat for that year. And then 2021, people were like, we need to get out. And in
Mm.
2022, it just snowballed. And in 2023, we doubled in 2022. And in 2023, we quadrupled our business.
Wow. Amazing. Well, and that comes with all the hard work you put into it, the marketing that you put into it. You said that you got mentored and coached, and there's a difference. Do you want to what's the difference between a mentor and a coach?
Oh, I would say a coach is, they're pretty similar, but a mentor is someone that I feel like maybe they're still in the same trenches as you, but they're still farther along than you.
I'd
They're
agree.
still And a coach is someone who may have been in your trenches at some time, but they mainly focus on coaching now. They're not exactly doing what you do anymore,
Mhm.
but they're still in it. They're still from your industry.
Okay.
Right.
Generally, yep.
I had both. I still have both.
I still have mentor moms.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, of course. Me too.
Women who have kids that are slightly older than mine that I can turn to and say, "Is this," you know? And the answer is, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's normal." I'm like, "Okay, that's not what I expected at this stage, but cool. Well, thank you." And just that reassurance sometimes that a mentor can give, that a coach, coaches are a little more generally practical, but also you pay them more generally than a mentor.
For sure. Yep. Yep.
Oh,
But it's
and you
good to
can
have
pay your
both.
mentors as well. Reciprocal.
I intend to be a lifelong learner,
Yeah.
and that's how I stay, at least in my business. That's how I stay in that vein.
Yeah. In fact, we talked about leaps. This is learn, laugh, and leap. I think we do plenty of both here. But the leaps that you shared for this, for what we're doing today, one of them was that not everything you love to do needs to be made into a business, but something you're good at could become a good business. Obviously, you epitomize that with developing your own agency. You called it Blue Shore Vacations. Any particular reason for the name?
Yep. So on our first cruise as a family, on the first, you sail away for a few days and then you wake up in St. Martin.
Yeah.
You open the windows and you're like, Are you for real? That's my view." And you go up on deck to look, and it was the shades of color in the water was stunning. I could
Mhm.
not believe the range from the royal blue to the aqua to the pale teal to the sky blue and everything in between. And it's the moment where it just takes your breath away, and you're looking at the beach and you're like, why do I live in a place where the air hurts my face? Why can't we live here? Also,
Did
just
you
like
move?
breathtaking. Did I move to St. Martin? No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
But I want that moment when I was standing there looking at the blue shore.
Hmm.
Wish that for everyone,
Right.
whether it's a trip to the Caribbean, a trip to Scotland, a trip to wherever you're going. I want that. I want you to have those breathtaking moments that last forever.
My Blue Shore moment was Greece.
Mm.
Waking up in Greece saying, I can't believe this color is here. If you could see my screen, the screens that I have, my screens are blue. They're actually of somebody swimming underwater. And my screen is it's underwater. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight. I'm speechless, and I'm not very often speechless, but even remembering that moment has me speechless.
The blue is such a calming, peaceful color. I
Hmm.
want that for people too, like
Yeah,
to go away and have that before you come home.
absolutely.
My wish anyway.
Yeah. Your second leap you mentioned was that business growth is not linear, but 10x is the way to go. Whoops. Wow. 10x is easier than 2x. That's another book I read in the past
Yeah,
year.
that's a book. I'm still reading it. It's right here.
Uh-huh.
And I am enjoying that. And the one of the premises of that is the 80 and the 20.
Hmm.
And if you're gonna really do the 10x, you gotta let go of 80% of the things you're doing in the day-to-day and focus on this particular 20
Mm.
that's gonna give you the 10x.
Yep.
Whether that means you hire an assistant, you pass stuff along, or you just pause some of these projects and things to temporarily focus on this thing that's going to elevate you to the next level. That's what you need to do for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been able to do that. Congratulations.
A couple times. We're going to see what 2024 brings. I've got some irons in the fire that are super exciting that I'm not ready to talk about yet.
All right.
But yeah, it's got to be make you nervous, I think, to make it exciting and really, really big. So I think that's what we're sitting on next.
Well, that is exciting. And you actually say for your point number three, always be dreaming of what's next. So I'm going to speak to, those that are live here as well as anybody watching the replay. What's next? If you're hearing what if you're picking up what Cindy's laying down and you're thinking this is something you would like to do. I know, Cindy, you mentioned when we talked that, you will invite people that are interested to have a conversation with you. Maybe you've looked at being a travel agent, that you're looking for a team to join. If you're watching this recording, or those of you live here as well, what do you think? Would you like working with Cindy? I'd raise my hand.
We do have a good time. We have a nice team. Uh, we work well together, and like it's making people's dreams come true every day. So what's not to
Are you,
love about that?
are you concerned about another COVID?
I mean, more than anyone, who knows? If I had a crystal ball, what would I do with myself, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That remains to be seen, but for now we're just going forward with our with plans as we are just going forward with our plans. So
Wonderful. Well, I know people would love to communicate with you, and you have offered a free vacation consultation for anybody that does reach out to you. Again, this is Cindy Andersen with Blue Shore Vacations. What social media are you most found on?
Facebook and Instagram for sure. And we do have a YouTube. I'm not very consistent with the TikTok, but we're there.
Okay.
That pretty much sums it up right there.
Well, the fact that you're on TikTok means you are doing some reels. So tell me about, like, what do you do? What do you do for your reels? Are you putting together like really elaborate things, or are you just getting live and saying stuff?
So, no, haven't done any lives. That would be a 10x for me. I like the things you can edit. I would take the reels and the videos. I actually love to do those. It kind of taps into my scrapbooking past, where you take a little snippet of this, snippet of this, you put in a transition and a nice layer of music. And I enjoy making those. So I have
Mhm.
so many reels racked up in my Instagram, ready to launch on the right dates. Those
Ooh.
are fun.
Oh, fun. And of course, what's great is you can relaunch them because people have a very short-term memory and not everybody sees everyone you put out there.
Well,
And
for sure.
and that being kind of one of my areas of expertise is with the social media and helping people be more authentic on social media. Joyminder Solutions is all about that, having all the different solutions that small businesses need for their business. Businesses like Cindy's, which is still technically a micro. Not, no, maybe not. You're no longer a micro business. You definitely fall into small business. Definition of small business for anybody wondering is under, I think, 200 employees. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah. That's a lot more than I would have thought.
It is a lot more. It is a huge number more, but that's the definition by the US government. I think many of us would say if you're under 10, you're pretty much for sure a small business. A micro business is under 5.
Okay.
And many, many of us are solopreneurs as well. So you
That's
started
right.
as a solopreneur. You've already reached where you're at with the number of people on your team. Congratulations. Any last finals that you'd like to share with our listeners and
I
watchers?
just wish everybody a super happy new year. I love what you said about being authentic on your socials. I do
Mm,
think that we connect better when we are authentic. When I think about the accounts that I look forward to when I open my Instagram, it's the people who are more authentic and like just talk to me rather than the perfect curated stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Well, you are authentic, and I really appreciate our time together and all that you've shared, all your great tips as well. I was going to ask you a little bit about personal safety. I'm sure you have tips like that, though, also on your websites. Is that true?
That comes in our emails. Once you book your vacation, we have educational emails that go out to everyone about every destination and every type of trip they have. So
Excellent. And great
it,
tips that you've already shared with us. So once again, Cindy, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording for our live streaming audience right now. as well as our recording. And our guests in the audience are here so that they can ask us questions, and you can get some live answers right here with Cindy. So until next time, my name is Leann Lyon. This is Lead with Leann. I love the opportunity to interview with extraordinary entrepreneurs like Cindy. Thanks again. And I'll be back next week with another episode of Lead with Leann.